Hey, how's it going? Thanks for coming back for another video. Um, if you read the thumbnail, you know it's not good news, but it had to be done. So, without further ado, yeah, just watch the video and you'll see what happens. Okay, well, got it all back together, at least the front end and hood and everything. So at least I can move it now. It's got wheels and tires on. The lower ball joints and knuckles and everything are all have nuts, bolts in them at least, so I can put it on its own weight. But that was the main goal mostly. Able to make sure I can still shut all of this. It's a nice little dent right there in that. Good times. But yep, now I can get it back on the ground. Next project, get this thing, the transmission taken off, and then gonna be putting on the stand. Okay, so here it is. Got it all on the engine stand over to the area where I wanted it to start disassembling it. And so here's how the motor sits. All the junk still on it. I just pulled the harness and all that other stuff off and a couple little things, but you can see the water pump delete plate and the new crossover, and you can see like the coil packs and the Hall sensor for the cam and crank, my MechMan alternator, fancy ass alternator, the that's for the turbo back pressure. It's the canister to help the map sensor there so it doesn't fucking take on too much pressure. let's just start tearing this thing down. So back in the time lapse. Okay, so this is where we left off as of yesterday. I didn't get a lot of it filmed actually because camera's messing with me and I was figuring stuff out, but yeah, so this is as far as I got. And everything torn down, got my cam gears, hardware, Hall sensor, timing kit, my L61 head, my cams, rod bearings, cam caps. Here are my pistons and rods. Everything actually looked surprisingly good. A little bit of wear on the skirts. You can see that through the cellophane, but yeah, I guess there you go. So just a little bit of wear in the skirts. Nothing crazy, you know, to be expected with running 800 horsepower, you know. But everything looked pretty good. So I guess I will reveal why I went to this length of messing with it, or tearing it down, because I was, after running the car, I realized, or actually trying to crank the car with the new setup, I got the base file for the fuel tech and for the new turbo setup and everything, and when I ended up trying to get it cranked to get a little bit of oil pressure going, I couldn't build any oil pressure. So I started tearing into the oil pump, and I found that we actually destroyed the front pump housing. If you can see it down in there, along the edge, right along the pump, there's a big chunk missing. I don't know if you can see that, but big chunk missing right around there, and it was losing the oil pressure right where the housing itself on the cover is supposed to center the oil pump in the center of this little ridge that's in there, and the little ridge broke off, so it was causing it to lose oil pressure before it even went to any of the bearings or anything. So I actually, this is the old one. I have the Bates billet pump in there, so I'm gonna have to pull the pump out of there, but that's the old one. And then I actually just got a brand new one from ZZP. I already ordered it, so this was already sitting here waiting for me to do this. I didn't want to just throw the pump in. So that's what it's supposed to look like. If you can kind of see, there's no space between the pump and the actual housing for the cover, so it actually, that's what it should look like. But the other one is yep, totally failed. So I think that may have happened on my last outing at the track, when I was actually at the making my passes, because on the very last run, the car, I got in a fourth gear on the very last pass, and it actually, like, it kind of was running through first, second, third, no problem, and then as soon as I got into fourth, it felt like it kind of nosed over, and I was like, what the hell happened? And I knew I was kind of at that point where I was a little low on fuel, so I don't know if I just caught an air bubble or, you know, something, it went a little lean. I honestly had no idea, because I went back to try to check my data log, and of course the log I didn't log that run, so that was on me. But that was one of my first track outings ever with the car, and it was in December, so there was only like 6 other cars running max, 6 maybe 7 other cars, and they kept rushing us to get back in the pits, because if nobody was going to be making passes, then they were going to shut it down. So they're like, and we drove 3 hours down to get to that track, so I was definitely going to try to get my money's worth and get my time on the track, because it's been years. So I made 6 passes overall, but the very last one, it just didn't feel right. It drove fine from there back, but again, I wasn't even, it was my first track outing, so of course I wasn't really thinking about every little thing, and I wasn't double checking oil pressures and everything on the road back. It's such an adrenaline rush, your adrenaline's pumping, you're not really thinking about stuff, and my Mega Squirt was logging for fuel pressure, oil pressure, and all these other things. So it was logging it to watch it, but there was no safety parameters set at all. So you know, it would see that it's losing oil pressure through a run, but you know, there's no safety protocols or safety features in the software to actually stop the engine from running when it's low on fuel or low on oil pressure, fuel pressure, oil pressure. But it's now with the with the fuel tech actually does. They actually do have fail safes. They have safeties. So if you do actually go a little bit too, you know, low on fuel pressure, below a certain threshold that you set, then it will actually, you know, like cut timing and save the motor. You know, same thing. We'll try to save the motor, and same thing with the oil pressure, but it can't. The Mega Squirt doesn't do that. Hey Tristan, you say hi?
Hi, but how does it hold?
It's a camera. It's my camera.
The camera, Daddy?
Yep. But yeah, so I'm gonna put it on time lapse and get the bed plate taken off, and then check the main bearings. So that's what we're gonna do now. Hardware. Sorry about the last video. I didn't realize the camera was at a weird angle. Wouldn't give me a preview. But bolts are all out. Bed plate's ready to come off. Well, you gotta pry it up, actually. What am I doing? I can't hulk it out. Here, it kind of popping. Wants to come off. Just ever so slightly. Okay, well, I got the bed plate off, got all the bearings off, and journals definitely need a polish at least, but I honestly am surprised how good everything looks, because they definitely ran low on oil pressure, because this bearing, okay, this bearing, not so okay. And then this bearing, even more so not okay. This one's got a light scoring, and then this one's okay. But it was literally on my last run, last pass. I felt it nose over, and I knew something was up. So the thrust bearing doesn't look bad at all, actually. This bearing looks perfect, but yeah, that one's fucked. Crank is about to come out right now. Gotta have a nice space to put it down. Sorry, just give me one second. I gotta find a decent place to set her down. Debris or anything on it. Okay. My poor baby. Oh, shit. Whoops. Rear main seal was still on. Didn't quite want to move with that still there. Okay. Okay. Okay, sorry to just leave you guys hanging. I'm all looking at the freaking journals and shit. Yep, so literally the first one still pretty good, but 2, 3, yeah, the first main is okay, second and third got fucked up, and the rest are fine. So it's literally just second and third main bearings that really got fucking trashed for the low oil pressure issue. But yep, so that is not what you want your bearings to look like, especially on a 1,000 horsepower race engine. Yeah, well, 1,000 horsepower capable, but yep. So she's getting a micro polish on the journals. Hopefully just a micro polish. New bearings, rings, rod bearings, maybe a light hone while it's apart, and then she'll be back together. Let's try this one more time. Well, not one more time, but well, let's get this going again. But thanks for sticking through the video. I think at this point it's probably going to be a pretty long one. So if you made it through the whole thing, thank you. But I'm going to try to post more. I just got a GoPro Hero 7 Black, so hopefully the video quality is a little bit better for you guys. And yeah, so it's going to be hopefully try to post in 4K videos nowadays. So I'm trying to get with the new age stuff. But yep, got some live action. Did not expect that to happen, but now gonna go and tear this head down also and take out all the valve train out of here. And we are actually taking all these valves and springs and everything, and all this stuff is going to be going into a LSJ head. So it was nice knowing this one as long as I had it. You know, I freaking love this. You know, made this thing work. And it's sad because I got that race ported Amfab cylinder head on it, but fortunately I don't think I'm going to be able to continue running this one. So this head is going into scrap pile. It's a giant paperweight at this point. But, you know, that's what happens. Got to keep moving forward.